right now, do you think that they blame Kyle Shanahan, Steve
Yep.
Wilks, or
Yep.
Brock Purdy?
It's Kyle
Which
Shanahan.
one? Kyle Shanahan?
Because
I disagree. Tell me why. I think Kyle Shanahan will get away without the majority of the blame. He's always, I feel like, with
if
that
they lose,
2019, people go back to Jimmy Garoppolo.
if they lose, well, no, because honestly, a lot of people I feel like blame Kyle Shanahan for that last Super Bowl 4 years ago, and I mean, again, you deserve blame for it for sure. You're the head coach, but he wasn't a significant factor in that loss to me. It really was more like Patrick Mahomes went god level tiers of a quarterback. Garoppolo couldn't throw. Your pass protection couldn't hold up. It was just not a good combination of things. But yeah, I think it's going to be Kyle Shanahan because it's going to be then like, you can't win the big game. The Chiefs have his number, and then he already has the baggage that people believe it really is his fault. No coordinator in the history of football, no assistant coach, no non-head coach in the history of sports has gotten more flack for a Super Bowl, for a championship loss than him. And it's insane to me. It's like, there's a head coach who can literally tell him.
That one always is funny. Like, I can't think of another team, you're right, where it's the offensive coordinator. But I think it's because everyone assumes he was kind of running the show.
Yeah, he was running the offense, but you're the head. But just like with Kyle Shanahan, just like Steve Wilks runs the defense, Kyle Shanahan can tell him, no, you're running this. And he's doing that. Yeah. I don't think they've been blitzing as much when they switched him from the booth compared to the first half of the season. That's Steve Wilks' MO. That he would overly blitz, right? And then now you weren't seeing that in this last game either until the second half. All of a sudden, like, okay, now we're seeing more blitzes, seeing a little more man. I'm pretty sure, like he said, like, you have my permission to use the man coverage. That's where I think also another part of me kind of skews a little bit more of my judgment is because Steve Wilks is kind of playing a little more vanilla. Like, he should be doing more for sure, but I think he's not playing to what he's accustomed to, right? Because he's running the system that Shanahan wants, the 49er system, and it's not like it's really his baby. And the Rams did that. McVay had Raheem Morris do that. It's like, hey, Brandon Staley left us the keys to the car. You're using it. And I think his was even a harder learning curve because he always ran I think what he ran was like completely heavily contrasting to what the Rams did. But he adjusted and he was solid, right?
Yeah. Now he's incredible.
Yeah, and
Wilks has been, what he was able to do with that defense this year.
Wilks, yeah. So I mean, that's where it's like always like I feel like it shouldn't be him. I think no matter what, for sure, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan, Wilks. But again, if they lose, like Purdy's gonna get. It's probably gonna be. I think national. It depends what kind of context we're talking in. We're talking like our spaces, like local and 49ers people. It's gonna come down. I think unequivocally Shanahan and Purdy, and then I think for all of us, we'll probably look at Wilks because for sure if they lose, it's gonna be because of Wilks. Like they could like.
I can see Wilks taking the blame in the sense of maybe not like narrative wise, but if the defense gives up, above, like if they give up like 30, I can see them firing. So
yeah, anything bad than them with Steve Wilks.
They're not going to move on from Brock next year. You know what I mean? Like they might not, depending on what he does, they might not extend him or they might. But off of one game, they're not going to move on from him. And they just gave Kyle Shanahan an extension, so they're not going to move off from him. So I do feel like if there is something where it feels like disastrous and they have to make some sort of move, that Steve Wilks would be the scapegoat. We kind of already saw that earlier in the season.
Yeah.
That at that point, I felt like the defense wasn't even doing as bad as it is now.
Yeah, if they have another like stinker like that where it's another half and it's like it's too much for the offense to come back from or something like that, or it made it a necessary comeback, then even in a win, I think they're going to consider their options of where to look for. If they lose, and especially because like his defense couldn't perform, then yeah, consider and he'll probably get fired. Because I'm just wondering, like, where are you going to look towards now? Do you consider another outside candidate, or do you actually hire within? Because forcing a guy who wasn't, brought into the system didn't work out, but the guy you brought in last time, who was brought in your system, Miko Ryans, did work out and it turned out to be better. So do you have someone on your staff that you can?
I think don't they always talk about the linebackers coach who's been there for a little while?
I think Johnny Holland or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if any of these guys want that necessarily. I'm not sure. It's always little. That
could be a question for you to ask. You probably can't talk to them. They're too low.
No. Well, I wouldn't. That's not.
We'll find them.
That's not appropriate.
This is yours to be our.
That's not appropriate to ask about their job in the future or something like that. Everything's gonna be game related. But yeah, actually, you did remind me that on opening night, media night on Monday, like position coaches will be everywhere. You can talk to them like right next to each other. I remember the Super Bowl 2019 or 4 years ago, I got Miles Austin, Wes Welker. I got Wes Welker a lot because I had him talk about like Deebo Samuel's emergence, what Samuel Sanders did, Miles Austin too. Who else? Was that just it, or I had one more person? I think those were the main two because Welker was
you
really
gotta talk to Chris Kocurek. No, well, yeah, because what the fuck?
Kocurek was always had a fat always had a fat crowd around him. He was the main position coach that had a fat crowd around him for sure.
I like when I'm watching press conferences. How am I blanking on his name right now? He used to be in Miami, offensive line coach for the 49ers. Yeah.
Very well. That guy can go on. I'm not
he
trying to
can talk forever. He can talk, but I kind of like it sometimes. Like he'll try to like explain. Like you'll be like, "How's Aaron Banks?" And instead of being like, "Oh, he's good," and trying, he's like, "Let me tell you."
The funny part is, I don't think he's explaining anything even half like that to his players. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of swear words and like, "We're gonna fucking do this," like that. Like I'm pretty sure it's like that.
Was it you that told me to look up that video like forever ago? Because I didn't know the background of him. Were you the one that did that?
I didn't tell you that. You didn't know he did for you.
I didn't know, and then I found out.
That was like 10 years ago, though.
I know. I like him though. He seemed funny. Really quick, I thought I would go over some comments because I thought this was an interesting. But really quick, actually, before that, this guy says, "I love your YouTube channel." So I want to say thank you so much. Don't forget everyone to like and subscribe. I'm almost to 2,000 subscribers, and yeah, hopefully we can get to that. And then he also said, "Hi, Jose. What are your top 5 keys to a victory for a 49ers game?" So I thought maybe you and I could both answer this, even though for some reason SG Sports Talk only wants your opinion on this. I'm going to force him to listen to mine too.
Well, I think I kind of did give him out at the beginning, but I'll say him again real quick.
Run the ball. Don't turn the ball over.
No, it starts with the defense for sure. For me, one, it's
defense.
Be a little more sound in your run defense. Number 2, if it's not
how do they do that though?
If it's not going sounding good, adjust sooner. Don't wait until halftime. That's not going to work. Number 3, Purdy has to be close to his best games this year. They has to look somewhere close to that. He can't look anywhere like he was last games. That's not going to fly. It's not. I don't think it's going to be good enough. And then don't get too Kyle Shanahan. Don't be too stubborn with one line of thinking. Don't overly run the ball if it's not working. Don't overly pass the ball when it's like, what are you doing? And if Purdy doesn't have it, then it's like, don't force him to keep throwing it. And then obviously turnovers, right? Obviously turnovers. It's just, I think if you have 1 turnover, that might do it. But 2, it's going to be all bad.
If you were, once again, back to gambling, since the theme of this is that Jose is leaving us to go to Vegas. If you were going to bet that Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes threw a turnover, or they both kept the ball clean, what kind of game are you anticipating?
If they both kept it clean? If they kept it clean...
do you anticipate that either of them will, like, if you were going to bet right now, Brock Purdy turns the ball over, yes or no? Patrick Mahomes turns the ball over, yes or no? What do you think? I
feel like Purdy probably turn. I'll be more prone to bet Purdy yes than Mahomes no, for sure. They just haven't, and I know they actually have been a really good turnover team this year. I think, right? The 49ers, I think they're in the top 8, top 5 actually.
In the regular season, I mean, I don't know if it changed around, but I think it was like a couple games before the regular season ended, they were number 1. They had the most turnovers in the NFL.
Yeah, and really honestly, like as much as I know they had 2 turnovers. Well, they had a nice forced turnover against Gibbs, but 2 of the picks on Jordan Love were like really some gimmies. But but you get credit for being in the right spot for sure. You get credit for being in the right spot. It's just I just don't see those mistakes happening from Mahomes. I could see you forcing a fumble from Pacheco, like Warner comes in there and gets it out because that guy is a turnover machine in that sense.
Dre Greenlaw punching the ball out.
Yeah, especially because Pacheco runs very high. So I think you're going to have those opportunities on him more than you will on Mahomes.
Hopefully no penalties, though. For some reason, when you were talking about punching the ball out, all I could think of, remember that one time that the ref kept blowing the whistle and Dre Greenlaw for like 10 seconds kept hitting the ball, trying to get it out? It was a regular season game, but he just like did not stop. I don't know if he
was right though.
went mute or was like, no, at this point I'm here. Now, someone said that the 49ers should watch the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs game this person agreed, or sorry, this comment, the same person, agreed with them that the Buccaneers and Brady kind of have.
But Brady didn't do anything that game. He wasn't the hero. It was the Bucs defense. I mean, how many times I've never seen a quarterback in my life in a singular game, let alone a Super Bowl, have to literally pull rabbits out of his hat multiple times and running for his life. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy was over here doing like sideways dives, sidearm throws that were like on the money. And when he did, like players had drops, like he had no time. Like that was like a defensive beat down. I haven't seen a defense have that good of a performance since the Seahawks did Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Like that was that good of a defensive performance. And Brady did his thing. He was fine. Like he did his thing for sure, but he was definitely more game manager in that game than I think of any Super Bowl he's played in. You know, again, like he had his impact throws, but like, it really was like a good running, it was a good balanced attack, and the defense was just, it was the defense that was the winner of the game for me. That one,
which we've kind of established might not be the same thing in 2 weeks from now for the 49ers. It might have to be an offensive domination, which is a scary thing. Now, this commentator said, I wouldn't say Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback yet. He needs at least 3 years to see. That means great games, come from behind wins, leading from a start. I don't think anyone can say yes or no yet. I feel like this is rational. They're not paying him yet, but I do think if you win a Super Bowl, if you don't lose a playoff game your first 2 years and you win a Super Bowl, I think you'd have to be really bad the next year for them not to.
Well, he already has nice 2 comeback wins in the last 2 games, so he's got that, and playoffs, so you get credit for that, you know.
Completely agree. And then also says that you can't blame just Purdy for those last couple games to look at both the game plan and both sides also. I feel like we did do that. Kyle Shanahan had a shitty game plan.
Yeah, Packers game especially. I feel like he was neck and neck with Purdy, if not worse.
Yeah.
And actually, I remember as the week went on, I started to be like, no, yeah, I think I blame Kyle Shanahan more for that game because, look, I get Purdy was playing bad, and he deserves to be criticized for it for sure. It's like, God, why can't this guy throw in the rain? And even when it was fine, like he couldn't do anything. But Shanahan, if he clearly doesn't have it, why are you continue to put him in that situation? Like, I don't get it. Give him some gimme throws or lean on your MVP running back. Like that was stupid to me. And on top of the 2-minute handling, like what the hell was that? Like, you know, it was just really bad. And this last game, like he didn't have the best game plan. Like, look, the offense wasn't like, you know, pitch perfect, wasn't that great. But to me, they were okay. You know, they were okay. It should have been better though. Again, it should have been better from the standards we're used to seeing from them.
I completely agree. I was just reading the comment. This person is extremely I love when people type with capital letters and exclamation points. So he really puts the Super Bowl 2019 loss on Kyle Shanahan. Which I think if we're being honest, it's a mix of Jimmy Garoppolo and then also Kyle Shanahan losing his goddamn mind. Then if you want to talk about the refs, do you know it's the same refs as 2019?
Is it?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Well, I guess that means Nick Bosa ain't getting holding calls.
Yeah. Well, I will say against the Lions, they had very minimal calls on both sides of the ball, and I kind of prefer games like that. Like obviously, if it's egregious, I want you to call it, but yeah. I'm always team let them play. Well, we're gonna end it here, but I'm so excited to kind of. I think next week. I got inspired by you being in Vegas. I'm going to do like a whole stream of I'm going to make you give me different bets and tell you who ask you all about who you've interviewed. So if we're meeting up on Tuesday, you'll have already done some interviews on Monday.
There's going to be interviews from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday's the dead day. Friday and Saturday are the dead days in terms of like pressers and stuff. Do you,
just because I have no idea how these things work, like, it's like Las Vegas, baby, but are you it's like working. So do you guys do people meet up and go out? Are you going to be doing that? Or
that's like late afternoon, evening type of deal. Well, everyone does like their morning hits, and then the pressers are going from like 10 to 12 or 1 o'clock. And then you get back, finish your work. And then it's like, all right, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Like, what's up?
Heck yeah. When you go out, what do you like to drink? Do you like to get shots or drink, like have a drink in your hand? Do you have a thing that you always
I do prefer like a nice well-made cocktail. Like my go-tos are usually an old-fashioned or Manhattan, actually. So I like something on like a little bit on the stiff side, but not too stiff. At least when I'm going out, like if I can get like a poured straight like glass of whiskey like at home. So I'd rather like someone make it than, and do that. So yeah, more like that. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to get like plastered like that. I'm trying to like, indulge a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
I like what is it called, a screwdriver, when it's like orange juice and vodka. Juice. I like that. I like those a lot.
I bet you do.
When I was younger, I liked the ones that are. Is it called? I don't know if I can say this, but Sex on the Beach. It's cranberry juice and vodka.
No, cranberry juice and vodka is just that. Sex on the Beach is like an actual really like kind of sweet drink, a really sweet drink with multiple.
Ooh, I like lemon drops. Last time I was in Vegas, I got a lemon drop.
Lemon drops are so sweet. I hate the sweet drinks. Good. I hate the sweet drinks.
They're kind of like smoothies, but like more fun.
They're just too sweet for me, and I'm not a sweet tooth in general. So
okay. Well, have fun. Drink lots of water. Bring hydration packs. I'm so excited for you. Gonna ask you all about it. Wish I could be there. Gonna live vicariously through you. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Please like and subscribe. And like I said, follow Jose on Twitter because he's going to be bringing you all the fresh and fit 49ers content. And we're going to be breaking it all down here. Can't wait. Hopefully we can change Jose's mind because we opened this 2 minutes into the stream and you said that the 49ers were not going to win.
We'll see.
So hopefully.
Whiskey sour. Yeah, I like it.
There you go. Good night, everyone. Have a good Tuesday. Bye. See you next time.